Okay, thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today, I'm very, very excited to have a very successful, very popular, very innovative escort. Miss Nella Marie is with us. I'm very, very happy that you made it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome now that I'm talking to you, and this is awesome. I've been waiting for a while. So first things first, just for legal purposes, are you over 21?
I am, yes.
Okay, so Nella, tell us a little bit about your background before the industry.
All right, so I grew up pretty normally in like a small town, just like kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I grew up riding horses and, having a lot of fun doing that. And I guess I just always was, I always felt a little bit different than everyone else. Always felt a little out there. Well, part of where I grew up had something to do with that too. And I guess I got into this. I've always been kind of a dancer, but I just got into this mainly because of the whole COVID thing that happened. And I guess I just started doing stuff like outside of the clubs not too long ago, probably like about a year ago. And I guess I've been pretty successful so far.
So you were a dancer before, like a strip dancer?
Yeah.
Okay. And before you get to the strip dance, if you don't mind, I want to ask you a question. You said you felt a little bit different. Could you explain to the audience, what do you mean by that?
I just mean I just felt like a different, I just felt different than everyone else, and I still feel that way, but it's like I'm just dealing with it now and like working with it, and it's just something like, I'm not sure, like maybe more people have a feeling too. They just feel like they're out there. They're from I don't know, I just feel different sometimes, but
so maybe
yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it because I'm not,
Okay, so let me see if I can help you a little bit. So you grew up in a little town, right? And then you're dealing with all the people around your age, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, and you're seeing that everybody's trajectory in life, they're going a certain path, right? And you felt that you wanted a different path. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I felt like I wanted something different. Like I wanted more than, what everyone else would be. I just wanted more out of it and more, and I wanted to have more freedom and so I guess that's kind of why I got into this too, because I saw where, okay, if I'm successful at this, I can have more freedom and I can really plan things out more and be more organized. And I guess I just sort of, like I said, I haven't been doing this for terribly long, so I don't have tons of regulars yet or anything, but I'm working towards it. And I'm getting, better and better every time, and getting used to more and more things, and I'm just getting more out there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, it's all about self-promotion and marketing and advertising. And
I got to get better at self-promoting myself. Maybe I even need to find a market manager or something to promote me better, but I'm trying.
Well, you're in luck, because what I'm going to do, I'm almost done with my book by the end of the month. I'm going to send you a copy, and it shows you how I did it when I was in the business, how I marketed, how I advertised the escorts I worked with, and stuff like this. Because there's, I developed a system over 30 years doing this, so that maybe will help you, study up a little bit on it, and I'll send that to you. But
for sure.
Going back to you left town at a young age, right? Like your town?
Yeah, I actually have done tons of things throughout my life.
Okay.
I've worked tons of jobs. This isn't the only thing that I stuck to, and I did a lot of other things too. I was a server. I had my own housekeeping business for a while. I mean, I've done a whole bunch of things. So this was just kind of I've done a lot of customer service things too. So this was kind of okay, I can see how I could play my customer service skills into this, and I can see how I could use my other skills in this as well. And I was okay.
Absolutely. It's all about customer service. You got that. You hit the nail on the head for sure.
So customer service.
Yeah.
I was just a really good customer service person for a really long time.
And you know, to be honest with you, like in my first book, I even explained in this one here, I explained that this is a business, like I ran it like any other business, you know, and customer service has always been my number one, whether when I owned the restaurants that I owned or the nightclubs or the talent agency or whatever business it is, I ran it the same way. It's just, we're selling a different service, right? So that's the only difference, you know, but other than that, it's just a business like anything else. So take me back to before you started, not escorting, before you started dancing, right? Stripping, exotic dancing, whatever it's called nowadays.
All right, let's see. So like if I would have stuck with this, like I started dancing when I was like 18, and I danced in like just like this tiki bar that was in like my hometown, and like it probably was not a good place to like start because it was just like I don't know, it was okay, and like I did pretty well like the first couple nights that I worked there, but like I didn't really go past that because like my parents found out and they just were like mad at me for a while, and like they like took my car away from me because they were like, we don't want you going here, we don't want you. They wanted me like not in that world at all. And then but I made like good money doing it the first couple nights, so I was like, okay, like I could really see. Yeah, it was like, it was more of like a tiki bar. Like I didn't have to show anything. You know, it was just dancing. You know what I mean?
Like a bikini? Was it a bikini?
Yeah.
Okay, like a bikini bar. Yeah, we have them out here.
Bikini bar. Yeah. So it was like considered like a strip club for like my town that I was in though, because it was such a small town. And then after that, I stopped for like a while because like my parents found out and they got mad, and then they were like, well, after you turn like 21 or whatever, then you can do it if you want, you know, we don't care anymore. Then
that's interesting because 18 is the legal age where you grew up, right?
But I was still in high school, so my parents you know, I was still living at home, and they were like, okay, well, we don't really want you doing this, you know what I mean, like, no, this is bad. And then I don't know, I just had it in my head for a long time, and like I was always into dancing and like having fun like that, and like I got myself like a dancing pole, you know, so I can do that. And like and I got that when I was still at home, and like I think I was like 23 or 24 like when I finally like got my like pole set up and stuff. But and then after that I was just like, okay, like, you know, the clubs are fun and like I'd make money and like have a lot of fun, and then it just wasn't enough to like, you know, sustain like a living, you know what I mean?
You talking about strip clubs?
Yeah, I'm talking about strip clubs. Like I was making enough to like, you know, get by and do what I had to do, but I wasn't making enough to like save for a house and like, you know, do all these other things that I wanted to do.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, like I need to find something else too along with this. And then I started in Minnesota doing this. All right, you know, I like drove back and forth like a lot. Like on the weekends I would come here, and like I would be here more often than I was at home. So I was like, okay, like I need to find something more though, so I can, you know, live here.
Right.
And then I just sort of was like, okay, and like, and I was just working in the clubs and like having fun or whatever. And then I just got like, then I just sort of like figured it out on my own that, okay, like, if I do stuff outside too, then I can like, you know, have a better, and that's just kind of how it developed. Like, and then I found Euros, and I was like, okay, I'll post here because it seemed like a good website, you know, it seemed high end.
It is.
And good. And then I posted there, and then it just sort of, it just sort of all has been working itself out. You know, I'm still pretty new at this, but I have the customer service skills, so I know that I can, you know, I can do well. It's just going to take me a little bit of time to, you know, build that clientele that I want to build. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's right. So let me ask you this. So when you were stripping, when you were in a strip club, right?
Yeah.
Did you get propositioned a lot, like to do extras in a VIP room or whatever?
I did. Yeah, I got propositioned a lot to do extra stuff. And I did get away with a little bit of extra stuff in the club, you know what I mean? But, and they, you know, they tipped me really well and everything. And it just didn't, yeah. And then like after that I was like, okay, like I could do this outside of the club too then. And that's just kind of how it started. And then it
So
just
when you
sort of,
first started out, you didn't have the specific goal in mind to become an escort. It's just kind of
no.
you transitioned into it a little bit at a
Yeah.
time, right? It
Yeah,
just
a little bit
created
at a
itself.
time. And then I still like to go to the clubs, you know, and dance. I still like to do that too. So I kind of do it all, you know what I mean? I escort
Hmm.
and dance and, you know, I have other things too, like my OnlyFans, and, you know, I
Hmm.
have, you know, like I just try to promote myself the best that I can. I've been doing okay, you know, for
Hmm.
just starting out.
Yes. Well, yeah, I
I
mean, you
haven't
got to
done much.
start somewhere. Yeah, it
I
takes
gotta
a little
start
time.
somewhere. It
Yeah,
takes a little bit of time to get established.
you know
And
what,
then you
Nella,
start,
it's
yeah.
it's like any other business. You know, it takes time to
Yep.
develop it and to market it, and then you start getting regular clientele, and that builds up, and you get more
Yep.
reviews on TER, and that builds you up even more. And it all
Mhm.
depends of how far you want to take it, right? And your goals.
Right.
Okay, so you started escorting, right? So let me take you back a little bit. The first time you ever did an extra, where it was not dancing, right? Where it was something that
Yeah.
has to do with the client, that he had a desire. And
Uh-huh.
how did you feel after you got that extra money, right? The first time you did it, did you have any type of feelings and emotions or thoughts connected to that first experience?
I just thought about it. I was like, okay, like this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like this wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I was like, okay, I could handle this. You know what I mean? This is something that I could really do and really like get better at and like, you know, move forward with. And I guess I'd never like really felt like that with any other like position or job that I had been doing before. And like I just felt like I could like take it to the next level. Like that's how I felt. I was like, okay, like I felt really good. I was like, oh wow, like because like before escorting, I'm not gonna lie, I was like I had a lot of one night stands, and you know those don't get you anywhere, and it just made me feel really bad about myself. And then now that I'm doing this, it's like okay, like I'm actually getting paid to do this, so like it made me feel a little bit better than just
Empowered.
going out and like you know having a one night stand and being done with it, and like you know what I mean. It just I
Yeah.
guess like and then like now like people are more like connective and more like trying to connect with me, and like it's just different. um it's different than like before.
I can share
Because
this
now I
with
see
you.
how I can see how I can turn it into something else versus just you know having all these one night stands all the time.
Well, I got to tell you, congratulations, because I worked with a lot of women that were in their late 40s and late 30s and early 40s, and they would tell me, "I wish I would have met you when I was 20 or 25, because I've done a lot of, because you know they love sex, you know, with men." And they would tell me I would go to clubs and have one night stands and everything. I couldn't even get a call back from the jerks, right? She said,
Yep.
at least now, especially when they start working and they see, like I had really good clients that were very respectful. They're really happy to see you, that you actually seeing
Right.
them. So they were really appreciative, even though they're paying you for your time, but they were still appreciative that you're seeing them.
Yeah.
And they would tell me, I can't believe it. Those same women that, you know, like they were in your position before. And they would say, I can't believe it that these guys are so nice. They give me $500 just for 20, 30 minutes. And I got treated better than any one night stand I've ever
Yep.
had. So congratulations, because you got it really early versus, you know, later on.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it like that. After the first time, I was like, okay, like I don't need to have these one night stands anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really, in my humble opinion, I think it's really empowering, because I'm your cheerleader. I'm really on the woman's side, and of course, I've always been nice to customers, and I love my clients.
Of course.
But there's something about empowering a woman to be in a position where she has control. And I've always made sure that we have control from the first
Yep.
contact with the client all the way till he leaves. And I was doing a lot of
Mhm.
things behind the scene. And I always, you know, trying to teach all my client and my escorts, make sure you're always in control, because it is your domain. It is your business. They're just the guest into your thing, and you have your own rules and your own things the parameters
Yeah.
that, you know, and you set your own boundaries, if you will. Because people
Mhm.
have the misconception that, you know, how there's a lot of misconceptions on this earth, that it's just a free for all. Somebody can come in and just do whatever they want with you, but that is not the
Yeah.
case. Am I right?
Yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So how do you? Okay, so you went from stripping. You said, "Oh, I can do this. Now I'm going to do this as an escort." Now, did you? And I talk about this in this new book about the first thing is to decide a time, or this is at least the way I worked, is if I was working with you, I would say, okay, Nella, how much money do you need and what do you need it for, right? And let's get you there. And this is how I did it, especially in Orange County. In Vegas, it was a little different. In Orange County, I wanted to do it the right way, right? So my goal was to help you get to where you're going. So if I'm to ask you right now, let's say you and I were going to work together, which we're not, just for legal purposes, right? But I would ask you, so, and then the other part of the question will be is, did you do that for yourself? The way I'm talking right now, which is, okay, Nella, so I know you want to work, you want to make a lot of money. So how much money are you thinking about making, and what is it for as far as the future going forward?
What is my money for in the future?
You don't have to give me the amount, but like did you have that conversation with yourself? Like, I'm going to do this for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
For this amount of money, and whichever one comes first, I'm done because I have a plan B. How did you do it?
Yeah. Yep, I do have a plan B after this.
Okay.
For sure. I'm planning on like going into psychology. Right now, like I am taking a few classes. I'm just like taking like I'm going slow with it because there's no rush. You know what I mean? Schooling. So I'm just taking like a few classes and getting like my generals out of the way right now because, well, after high school, I decided it'd be fun to like do something else. So
right.
I'm getting my generals out of the way now, but I'd like to be like a therapist or something along those lines eventually.
That's awesome.
Kind of my goal, because I think there needs to be more mental health workers in this world, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting towards.
Now, did you set yourself a certain time or monetary goal for you to say, okay, I'm done with this now, I'm going to go on a different path in my life, like in your case would be a psychologist or a therapist?
So I think I could do this for like 4 years at least, and I could make enough money, I think, to put myself through. If I play my cards right, and if I just keep doing what I've been doing and just stick to my price and stick to my goals, then I think I could like be successful and have a successful career. Well, it's not going to take me 4 years to get my degree, but at least that much time to like save the amount of money that I want to have set aside for it.
Right.
And to like really get into it, you know what I mean?
And maybe have your own home or condo or something that you own that you know nobody's going to take away from you, and it's your own, right?
I'd like to have that as well. I mean,
for sure.
That's a good goal too. I guess I haven't really thought about where I'd want to live quite yet, but that'll come with time.
Yes. You're still young, and we're always developing and changing, and what you think today might change a year from now or 2 years, and there's going to be always opportunities presenting themselves to you. I mean, it's amazing, especially when you do certain things in this business. It's amazing how many opportunities it just opens up a lot of doors, and
it really does.
Yeah, it really does, with the right really people. Hopefully, you seem like a very nice person, and you get what you put out. So hopefully that the universe will bring you really good people around you, good clients.
I hope so.
You know what I mean?
I have a couple of good people right now, so that's I'm good with that. I have a couple though. I need to work on building more clientele, of course. But yeah, I'm just still working at it. So
you're doing a good. You're definitely ahead of the pack. That's for sure. And you're still young, so you have your entire life, and you never know what's going to happen. But I'm sure you're going through that path, and you're just going to do the best you can and be successful at it. So one of the things I'm doing, just like with this book, is I developed a system over the years, right, to help my business grow and to help the escorts that I worked with get to where they want to go as quickly as I can, because I believe that from 1 to 3 years, it's very, very important that you get to your goal and get out, because I never want you or any of the escorts that I worked with to get to a point of no return where they think or they feel that they can't do anything else, And like, I know a couple of people that I worked with years ago, 20 years ago, they're both millionaires. They've been really successful at this. They took it to the highest level, and they're in their 50s and early 50s. And I talked to them, and I said, well, why are you still doing it? Well, I don't know what else to do. I don't, this is what I do, right? I said, well, do you want to do this? Like, I'm not really sure. So, it's very, very important that you do have discipline where, and I hope you never feel, Nella, that you can't do anything else. So this is good that you have that,
I
that goal.
already know that I can do, like, I was raised pretty well, I'll say. Like, I was raised that, like, I can do anything that I put my mind to.
It's true.
Pretty much what my parents always told me and made sure that I knew. So I know that if I didn't have this escort business, I know that I could be successful doing something else. I just wouldn't be making as much money, and I wouldn't be doing as well, and I couldn't put myself through school. Like, there's certain things that I couldn't do if I wasn't.
Well, don't feel any different way, because over 75% of the escorts I worked with in Orange County when I did this, I was about maybe 500 or 600 girls that I worked with in 4.5-year period. I can tell you 75% of them did it for the same reason you're doing it, which is they were going to school and they could not afford the student loans. They didn't want to have, and one of them, I remember now, she's a dentist. She was going to UCLA, and she had like $200,000 in debt. She was in her senior year. She says, I don't want to work for 10 years and still have debt. I just want to get rid of it. So she worked with me like almost a year, and she got in, she got out. Now she's got her own practice. She saved money. She got her own practice with 2 associates, and she's doing really, really well. So I think it's really smart that you don't, but of course, again, it's not for everybody. You got to be a certain kind of person.
Right. And like how I grew up too, like my family didn't have any debt or anything like that. So like I'm really like used to not having like debt and not having like certain expenses. I don't know. I grew up
money management. It's money management.
Yeah, really good money management.
There you go.
Parents have. I do have like some money set aside for college from them, but it's not enough to put me through to do what I want to do.
Yes.
So,
especially in that field, you could be going for postgraduate. You could be in school for 6-7 years until if you're trying to get certain accreditation. It takes a lot of time and money. So let me ask you this. So the book I'm writing right now, it talks about my system, right? So it's a system that I developed for this particular business, and it's going to be called how I made $1 million a year being an upscale escort, right? Which few of my escorts actually did. Most of them did 500 to 600,000 a year. So that being said, you didn't have a book to study about this, right? They don't have a school for this. They don't have courses online or whatever. So how do you navigate? How do you learn? How do you teach yourself? What did you do to learn how to, like, where to advertise? How to write the ads, which pictures to take, what kind of pictures? Do I use video? How do I screen? How do I set up my income location? How do you know about all these things?
Well, I was really good with photography, like, before I started doing this. So like taking pictures and taking good pictures of myself has never really been an issue. Like I look decent, so I don't really need to like edit my photos or anything. And I guess like as far as like the in-call and stuff, that took a little bit for me to get. It took me a little bit to get like what places would be good and what places are just a no-go. So now like I do mine out of like upscale hotels, because that's just like, that's the most comfortable for me. It's the most comfortable for my client. It's just easier to navigate it that way. And like I did try like, like some not so good hotels in the beginning, but it was just like not, because it's just sketchy and like, not good. It just didn't bring like the good clientele. And so I just like decided, to make myself go a little bit higher. And yeah.
So you don't do it out of the place where you live at. You always do it out of a hotel. Okay.
No, I always go out of a hotel, because I don't really want that flow of traffic in my home, and I don't want everybody knowing where I live, and
right.
all
Very
these
smart.
people knowing where I live, and like it's just not I know that I don't want that.
Like I ended up with 12 places in Orange County, upscale, condos or whatever, and nobody lived there. It was just for business hours was 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. That was my business model, and nobody lived there. It was just specifically, and I chose, like you were saying, and this is all in my book, I chose the location, which complex, how close they are to the intersection where everybody is there for business or whatever. And I was right by Newport Beach, where I wanted to be, where all the money is. So you're right. There's always all these things you got to consider when you're figuring out where you want to meet your clients. So how did you learn all these things? Did you just read about it? Or, I mean, you know, like as far as advertising and all this stuff, like, does somebody teach you this?
I'm not very good at advertising. I'll say that. Like, I need to get myself out there more. I'm just not really sure where else to go. Like, I guess I found Euros. I knew about Euros for a while, actually. I had never like thought about posting on it. You know what I mean? I don't even know how I found it. I think I was just like searching online, and maybe I even searched like euros to dollars or something like that. And then like, you know, that like came up as one of the websites, and I just like scrolled down. That's probably how I found it. I don't really know, but I never really thought about posting ads on it or anything. And then this whole COVID thing happened, and then I was like, okay, like all the clubs are closed. Like, I don't really have anything else I can do. I can't get another job. So like, what am I gonna do kind of deal? And then like I rediscovered it, and I was like, okay, like I could just post on here, and it was like, you know, it had good reviews, and it seemed like a good place to go. So I just decided to post there, and that's the only place where I'm posted. I'm not posted anywhere else, just because I think I would get too much of a flow, just too much to keep up with, and I wouldn't be able to provide the customer service that I want to provide.
Right. I got to tell you, I've been using Eros since '98 when I discovered the internet. They've been around since probably '95 or '96, and that to me, besides City Vibe, which they're no longer unfortunately in business, that was one of the best results I've gotten in this business as far as the VIP clients that was targeting. Right. So that's a good place. Right. Unfortunately, on this note, a lot of businesses are being forced out by the government, like Backpage. They got indicted, they had to be shut down. City Vibe, I spoke to the owner, which I've known for a long time, and he was also pushed out because they were
Euros is like international though, so I think that's kind of why they're having a hard time shutting it down.
Yeah,
right?
And you know, the guys are really smart. You know, they have a lot of good lawyers, and the thing with the other thing is the erotic review, which is, you know, you can base your whole business on, and I did that in part of my career, which is just like Yelp reviews, you know, for businesses. Same thing that I had my escorts really do a great job, and I would ask the clients to write reviews, just honest reviews, and that really helped a lot. I'm still sketchy about, I'm coming from the old school, you don't kiss and tell, and that kind of, you know, like just broke all the grounds, because it's all court transcript ready, you know, and they law enforcement does use the erotic review. So I'm not really sure about, you know, what's going on with that nowadays. I don't feel, you know, really comfortable with the erotic review anymore, but I've stayed away from them. I changed my business model, you know, and it's all in my book, you know, how I did it and everything like this. Okay, so you don't have a class, you don't take a class, you don't take a course, you just kind of winging it. You just like seeing how the other girls do it, and you just write your ad and like,
well,
okay,
I guess like I never really saw how anybody else did it. You know what I mean? I kind of just like, I tried to like get myself in order first, and I tried to like figure out, okay, like what am I really gonna do here to like make the most amount of money so I can like do what I want to do, really. And this seemed to be it. And like I said, I had offers in the club and stuff, so I was like, okay, like, you know, and then eventually I just kind of like gave in. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like,
hey, listen,
go.
you know,
What I mean?
when the bills come in and you got to pay them, and it's COVID and nobody's hiring, and people are out of business and out of work, and you know, millions of people are on unemployment. I get it.
Yeah,
So
but I didn't go
necessity.
on unemployment. I haven't been on unemployment at all this whole time. So
say congratulations. You're not doing what 50 million people are doing. So you're doing your own thing.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you one more time, and then we can move on. So, like, how do you learn how to screen? Because that's the most important thing in this business. How did you learn that?
Okay, I thought about it. I was like, okay, like I'd want to see the people before I interact with them. So I was like, FaceTime, video chat. Everybody has to have that now. It's the 20th century. You know what I mean? So that's how I do it. I know there's like P411 and like like these other sites that you can use for screening as well. And I just haven't really like looked into those sites as much yet. Because I've been like successful with just like video chat screening. Because, you know, like I said, everybody has like, you know, a way to video chat. Everybody has some kind of social media or something that they can use. So I just make myself open with all of those. I have, you know, Zoom, Google Duo, like all these different apps to make it possible for people to contact me through the video.
And when you talk to somebody, how do you know that they're not like really good at manipulation or lying or whatever, that they just want to get into your door? Like, how do you know that they're safe just from by talking to them? Like, what do you look for? Like, how do you know they're safe?
Well, first of all, I make sure that they have like a decent job, and I make sure that they tell me more of what they do. So like if they say, well, I'm in sales, then I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, what do you sell? You know what I mean? I
More
get
specifics.
more specific into them with them. And I just try to get them, I try to get them comfortable with me. And like, cause some guys aren't comfortable video chatting, which I get it, but at the same time, I need to stay safe. So if they don't video chat me and they don't want to even try, I'm like, sorry, like I gotta, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna like waste my time here. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So that's kind of how I go about it. And it's been, you know, it's been working out for me pretty well so far. You know, I
That's
mean,
good. So you haven't made any like errors where made a mistake?
I have made an error. Yes, I've made an error. It wasn't like something that really bad happened to me or anything. It was just I screened somebody, and then they were like, they seemed okay, you know, and then I had them over, and then they were like, they weren't happy with my services at all. And then they were just like, I'm a cop. And they're like, give me all the money that I gave you. And then they're like, and then I won't, you know, say anything, or I won't do anything. I knew, you know, at that time though, I was panicking. So I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean?
But you know it's not true, right?
But now I know it's not. Yeah, I knew it wasn't true. And then when he walked out the door, I was like, shoot, like that definitely wasn't, that wasn't it.
Did you give the money back?
I did, yeah. Cause like I was panicked, you know, I was like, whoa, like what do I do? Like,
but you know what? It's okay, because you didn't get hurt. You know, safety is, your health is more important than any money, and you'll make that money back. So
yeah, and it wasn't even much to worry about. So
so without getting into details in your personal life, how do you balance your personal life with the person that you are for real and Nella Marie?
Well, I suppose the person that I really am, I have a pretty like scheduled out, like I like to wake up in the morning, make myself breakfast, exercise, and I suppose Nella like fits in with that, a little bit, but like it's more of, I've always just been like, I always take care of myself. I guess like Nella's kind of a free spirit and kind of does whatever. So
I'm talking about, okay, so more specifically, let me revise the question. So like your friends, right? Or family, whatever, like nobody knows, right? Does anybody know?
I have two of my good girlfriends are like the only ones that really know what I've got going on right now. And that's only two. I don't really tell. Those are like my only two like really good friends, who have been like the friends that I've, you know, known forever, and like I know they wouldn't tell anybody or like do anything to hurt me. You know what I mean?
Are they in the business or no?
No, they're not in the business. One of my friends likes to travel around, so she's doing her own thing somewhere else too. But I don't know, I talked to her about it, and she was like, oh, well, that would be fun, you know, to do like a couple of times. And like, because I told her like, you know, the one night stand thing. Like, she was like, oh, because she, you know, she kind of has the same deal happen to her, you know. And yeah, I mean, she's like, yeah, that'd be really fun, you know, we could go and travel somewhere and like, you know, make some money. And like she's more sporadic though than I am. Like she doesn't have things planned out quite like I do. Like, she'd probably just do it like 1 or 2 times, and then, you know, like, not, you know what I mean? Like, she wouldn't be in it to like have the clientele and like, you know, take the time to, you know, connect with these different people. But I guess I'm different than her in that aspect. Like, I want to, like, you know, connect with these people and like make them feel good. And like, most of my clients have a really good time with me. You know, sometimes, you know, you get the one where maybe they have like not a very good day or something, and like you just can't get them to, you know, come around.
Yeah.
But that happens, you know.
Yeah, there's always something in the background with some people they can't separate, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm very impressed with you because I got to tell you, for such a young age, because I was your age at one time, you really know where you're going and where you know, like what your path is like. And that's very, very important. You seem like the type of person, and I know you're going to be successful because you said something that's really important for successful people, which is you put yourself on a schedule, because nobody's going to put you on a schedule but yourself, because you work for yourself, right?
Yep.
So you have a certain regimen and you follow it, and you notice if you look at any successful people, billionaires, whatever, in business or otherwise, they always have that regimen that they stick with, because, you know, you have to, time is one of the most important commodity we own, and you have to always manage your time, just like you manage your money.
Yep.
So if I know you've been doing it just for a little bit, but what has been the benefits and what has been some of the pros and cons, if you will, in the business so far?
All right. Well, some of the pros would definitely be that I can now, like, I can get pretty much anything that I need and anything that I want. Because I've been pretty successful this year with this, even though this isn't my only year doing it. So I'm going to say that's one of the pros. One of the cons is probably like some of the negative things that people can say, or some of the negatives that people have on this industry. Like, some people just don't, they would never understand per se, you know? And it just kind of like, those are the type of people I think that kind of bring this industry down, and like just kind of like, you know, because I've gotten like people that just say like not very nice things to me, like on email, and you know, it's just like I just kind of like, you know, laugh it off, like, you know, you don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what my goals are, you know nothing about me, you just see that I'm doing this, and that's all you see. So, you know, I just don't let that get to me, because it's not, you know, it's not their life. So
That's right. That's right.
not worry about it.
You know, Nella, one of the reasons why I'm doing these interviews, like with you, and I'm really appreciative that you're here, is to kind of shed a little bit different light on the person behind the job, right? So just because you're an escort, that does not define who you are as a full human being, because we're all multidimensional, right? You have all a lot of different dimensions towards you. And that's one of the things that I have to deal with being now in the front line. Before, I used to be behind the scenes, of course. And that's what I'm dealing with. And I actually did a video today about perception versus reality. So it's like, what is real, what's perception? And a lot of people, unfortunately, especially the ones that has not worked on themselves and their own emotional intelligence, they kind of tend to look at you or what you're doing, and they emotionally, whether it's religion or whatever background they come from, it makes them judge you without knowing any details about you, what kind of person you are, and all this stuff. So that's something that we have to deal with, and everything that I'm doing is hopefully is going to change a lot of that perception. Hopefully, at least shed a little separate light or different light on the person behind the job, versus just worrying about, you know, what emotions they carry from their upbringing, or just because they're just being judgmental, or religion or whatever. So, you know, all we can do is just be the best person we can be, and just move forward and reach your goal, and go to the next level, you know? So that's, I commend you, because we can't feed into the negativity. You seem like you're very positive, and you just keep going with your positive path, and you're going to make it, and you're going to be awesome. Before we leave, a couple more things. Do you think prostitution should be legalized or decriminalized, and why?
I think it should just be decriminalized, because if it were to be legalized, I just think things would be way different. And I think it would just be, it would just be, things would just be way different if it was legalized. But being decriminalized, it still gives you, you know, it still gives you enough freedom to do what you need to do. And I don't know, I just think like if it was legalized, I just think we'd be in such a different world right now that it's just like, it
You
would
think
be
so?
insane. It would be,
Well,
I think it would be different because like all the strip clubs would be like promoting something totally different than just, you know what I mean, than just going out and having fun and dancing. And, you know, it would be like more of like a brothel, you know, it would be more of like it would just be different.
but don't you think that if it's decriminalized completely, then that would give these places even more of a platform to just sell sex right out in the open? Because the thing is about, let me just say this, with legalization comes, they have a lot of regulations, right? And then there's licensing involved,
Right.
and all sorts of stuff that people like, just like the brothels, like it's legal in 7 counties in Nevada, right? And when you open a brothel, you have all these legal things you got to go through, and you know the girls have to be checked every week, which is a good idea. I did that anyways, you know, for safety purposes, the STDs and whatever. And so this is my opinion. Like, regulations is good if it's for everybody. You see what I mean? So everybody has to play by the same rules, just like what's happening with marijuana, right? Decriminalization, it makes it more of a, maybe like a wild west thing where but you know what, anything is better than what it is right now, you know. That's for sure, you know what I mean. I get contacted, but
I still think decriminalize would be good though, because then like you see all these people that are like, you know, successful with doing this, and then you see how it's like it would just be harder because it would be more regulated, and it would be like, I just think it would be a little bit more difficult to get into because of all like the laws that they would have with it, and like they would
the
have
licensing and all that.
And all the licensing, and they would just have like all this other stuff that you'd have to do. So I just think decriminalizing it wouldn't have all of that per se, but it would just be more of like, well, you're not going to go to jail for 50 years. You know what I mean? Or however long it is.
Right. I always say that safety has always been number one when I did this in my you know field or whatever. So talking about safety, aside from screening the clients and everything, not bringing the wrong person in, as far as like your own health, right, which is very important, right? Health is always, you cannot buy health, right? Health is very important. So what do you do to stay healthy, like to not take chances or risks that, you know, could be
for me, I take all my vitamins of the day to stay healthy. You know, I always use protection no matter what.
Okay,
always.
Good.
I don't even consider not using protection. Like if they want to do anything, but like, no, I just don't. That's
good for you.
That's pretty much how you stay healthy doing this.
Good for you. Don't ever, my advice is, I've always been to my escorts, and we've had clients offer $10,000 and $20,000 to do BBFS, bareback full service. And I always fired the client if he offered, and fired the girl if she even thought about it, because no money is worth your health or having STD or dying, you know.
Yep, exactly. So that's why I always do everything protected, and I just try to stay as safe as I can.
Yes, I have a friend. I had a friend that I was really good friends with her mom, and she was a provider in Las Vegas. And I found out in 2015 she passed away from HIV, and she was one of those that started doing bareback full service, because one of the websites, they were doing a lot of really, it's called Humaniplex, and I always stayed from that place. And they were really kind of extorting girls that if you don't do this, we're going to have bad reviews on you, and we're going to, you know, basically ruin your business. So she was one of those that actually, unfortunately, fell for it. And I used to tell her all the time, whatever you do, do not do anything unsafe, because your health. And she passed away in 2015 at 36 years of age. So believe me, this risk is real, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So Nella, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? You have the floor. You can talk about anything you want. You can share anything you want. It's all yours.
I guess I would just say stay safe, and hopefully everyone just, you know, finds what works for them, and hopefully they can make it work. I don't know.
Okay, and what I'm gonna do, yeah.
I don't have much else to say, really.
Oh no, you're doing a great job. I'm very proud of you. I know you're gonna be successful. I know you're gonna be healthy. I know you're gonna be safe. You're doing a great job. You got it all together. You're very smart. You're very bright. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I will definitely include all your links for anyone that want to contact you. Right? You want me to? Okay, I'll include all your links along with this video on my channel. Anybody that wants to contact you, then they can do that. I'll put it on all my social media platforms. And I just want to wish you the best of luck. I thank you so much for your time. I know your time is very valuable. And I hope that you reach your goals sooner than later. So the sooner you can get out of this, and then you can follow your life to the next chapter, next path in your life. Now you're gonna you're gonna be a great therapist too.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.